And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the EWC Esports World Cup 2025 StarCraft 2 broadcast day number 1. We are over halfway through the broadcast. We're down to 3 remaining best of 3s. 3 best of 3s remaining here. We have Reynor versus SHIN, Classic versus Rogue, and Classic versus Rogue, and Showtime versus Cure. We just wrapped up with Beyond versus Clem, a very short best of 3, and bearing in mind these are all best of 3s. I'm a little bit torn. These are shorter series, a bit of a shorter format for day 1, but if you want those best of 5s, we got you covered tomorrow for day number 2. That's what we have, and where we can indulge in those best of 5s. We'll get there. We will get there. Meanwhile, shout out to both Loco, Kalaris, and Wardy for jumping onto the casting couch. Do love to see it, as they're going to be discussing the initial games here before the casters do dive in. Fun fact, by the way, something that I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed as well, the casters don't have any cams on them. Every time we load into games, I'm so used to seeing, like, we go from this analyst segment, this analyst couch part, bam, and we cut to the caster desk. But we haven't done that at all so far. I'm curious if we're ever going to or not. As a result, because we don't have audio from the casters, I actually have no idea who's been casting these games. No idea. Just because there's been no visual indication. So yeah, I'm curious if maybe they just don't have any cameras set up for the casters. Curious. Or if they're saving that for, you know, day 2 or later on in the event. Later on throughout the days. We'll see. Otherwise, we're getting ready for our ZvZ. This might also be another shorter series, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes all the way to the ace match. Both Reynor and SHIN are both terrifying in ZvZ. They're both hyper aggressive, very committed. I want to say that a good example of that is DreamHack Dallas. If you were watching DreamHack Dallas, especially the playoff section of that tournament, we saw a lot of ZvZ between Solar, SHIN, Reynor, and Serral as well. We saw so much ZvZ between all of them, and we expect to see aggression. We expect to see players cutting workers at random intervals, going for earlier roach timings, earlier evo chamber, earlier +1. We'll be keeping an eye on the tech of choice from our 2 players. We'll be keeping an eye on the third base timings as well, and we'll see who's going to be the initial player to cut workers and to be hyper aggressive and to commit with roaches, because we expect that to happen throughout every game in this series. Let's go. We're jumping into
the Esports World Cup, but few are as harsh as DreamHack Dallas, a final test before the World Championship, which only 4 players managed to pass. The first one was Maru, a true icon and master of the Terran race. In Bracket A, he glided through his opponents and earned himself a spot in the playoffs without dropping a single map.
제가 국제전 우승이 없어서 너무 아쉬운데.
Later, Maru took care of the Protoss, passing through Hero 3-2 to later then take down Classic 3-1. After that, only Solar remained in the grand final, which became a very one-sided TVZ.
일단 드림핵 달라스에서 생각지도 못하게 우승을 해가지고.
Yes, Solar indeed fought valiantly and secured his grand final spot after dealing with Bracket D opponents, where he only lost to Serral.
Like, he was really strong than I expected.
In the playoffs, he disposed of his fellow Zergs, Reynor and SHIN, and thus could already start packing for the Esports World Cup. Speaking of SHIN, he also reached top 4 starting in Bracket A, where he had to fight all the way through the lower bracket after suffering a defeat at the hands of Creator. 5 games later, he landed in the playoffs and reached the semis after taking down none other than Clem.
제가 근데 항상 모든 해외대 갔을 때 1일차에는 사실 잘하지 못했어요. 항상 거의. 그래서 2일차는 뭔가 자신감이 좀 있었던 것 같고, 그리고 오히려 패자조에서 하다 보니까 좀 편하게 게임을 했어요. 그러다 보니까 좀 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
Lastly, we have Classic, a Protoss who almost had the perfect run in Bracket C. Almost being the key word, as he was stopped by Clem, only to later redeem himself by defeating Bunny, and in the quarterfinal, silence none other than the Finnish phenom, Serral.
제가 달라스에서 세랄 선수를 이겼었는데 이렇게 승리까지 할 줄은 몰랐는데 3대2로 승리하게 되어가지고 정말 너무 기뻤습니다.
Yeah, DreamHack Dallas was crazy. It was a very intense tournament, and I love how Maru's words were, winning DreamHack Dallas, it was a nice surprise. Yeah. It's crazy, baby. Yeah. But we're getting into those Maru matches and some of the other players later on in the during the week, I should emphasize, as we won't be featuring them here tonight, not yet. Again, the Maru Trigger match is going to be off stream, is going to be on the B stream instead. As for now, we're going to be focusing on those ZvZs. I still remember that moment, of course, when Solar beat Reynor, when he popped off on stream, when he popped off on cams. DreamHack Dallas was a very, very intense moment for him, and it was a very close and very clutch series as well. Again, Solar and Reynor, I feel like they've had a bit of a rivalry. They didn't just play in DreamHack Dallas, they also played in GSL, if you recall. GSL Season 1, Reynor, he was there, he was a part of GSL, and he played a lot of ZvZs in that tournament as well. So we're seeing even more ZvZ action. We have been able to get a little bit more eyes on Reynor as of late. Of course, he's been recently competing in online tournaments. He was in Korea with Clem and with Trigger. So Reynor also in Korea, also practicing, getting ready. I do think that the Korean ladder would also benefit him, because we have a lot more Zerg representation that's active in Korea with a more aggressive style as well, referring to Solar, SHIN, and Rogue. So I do think that also would benefit Reynor. Again, in general, like, there's a reason why Reynor, Trigger, and Clem went to Korea to practice and to train and to get ready for EWC, because that's where all the top players are, right? That's where all the other top players are, the more aggressive players. You're going to be missing several there, of course, but I would say you're only really missing Cyril and I guess Showtime and some of the other top Europeans. But of course, I'm sure Reynor and Clem did benefit from that, and we're about to see if that's the case. Clem, looking strong, takes the 2-0. Can Reynor do the same? As we just got an update, Solar takes down 2-0. We have Solar versus Clem. That's going to be in a qualifying match. It will be taking place tomorrow in tomorrow's stream. But congratulations to Solar, my condolences to Zound, and we have an elimination match there on the lower brackets. Björn and Zound facing off to determine who will be knocked out of EWC. Oof. Yeah, brutal to see those two facing off. Wishing them both the best. More TVP action. Meanwhile, as I just mentioned, Trigger and Maru, they will be playing on the B stream as well.
We are here from the B stage where we just witnessed and casted, actually, myself and Dave, Solar and Sound go at it. Dave, how about a quick thesis statement about what just happened?
Yeah, Solar came in just ultra aggressive and battered his way through Zound. Zound had put up a real strong defense in game 2, but he eventually crumbled to that unrelenting pressure that Solar is so good at.
Yeah, and I mean, there was so much confidence in Solar as he was kind of saying, this is what I expected, this is what happened, and this is what was always going to happen, right? He was very much playing the mind games, and everything worked out in his favor, or that's how the interview with Ravi went. But then the confidence kind of shattered.
Yeah, he found out his next round opponent was Clem, and you just saw like all the joy drain from his face. And yeah, you know, I honestly think he's a pretty good matchup against Clem, but it was a very interesting juxtaposition to see that happen, and that's what a reigning world champion will do.
Yeah, I mean, he said, please fear me a little bit, was his battle words. So, yeah. But we had a great time here, so thank you for having me guest cast, and we'll see you guys around.
Let's go. My heart goes out to Solar, but yeah, it sounds, we didn't get to see the games ourselves, of course, but it sounds like Solar, I mean, something that he's known for in ZVP is a lot of three-way all-ins, so it sounds like that's probably the case as well that occurred, where he joins on 3 bases, gets a 4th base just for Lava, and then he hits with either Ling Hydra or Hydra Roach, or again, these like 3-base all-ins are what Solar's known for, and it sounds like that's what occurred in that series as well. So we wish Solar the best of luck against Clem. Again, Clem is going to be the heavy favorite for sure in that match. But, you know, just like Solar, I hope that Clem has a little bit of fear in him, and I hope Solar is able to make a series out of that. And again, that'll be taking place tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow and during tomorrow's broadcast. For now, we can focus on the now. And again, great to see, as we mentioned, Steadfast. It's going to be Steadfast, Katz, Paolo, Ravi, Fear Dragon, and The Muslim. I believe they're all on the B stream. They're all hosting and organizing that. Is there anyone that we haven't seen yet on the casting couch? We saw Roddy, Zombie Loco, Wardy. We saw Tastosis earlier. We saw them on the couch. And State, right? Yeah, we saw State as well. So yeah, we've seen everyone so far on the casting couch. I believe I'm not missing anyone. At least I hope not. Oh, meanwhile, we have the vetoes. We have our vetoes. We have Game 1, Persephone. Game 2, Magnatha. Game 3, Incorporeal. Very interesting vetoes here. We have gotten rid of all the smaller maps. Get him out of here. We got rid of Torches, Pylon, Ultra Love, Tokamak, Last Fantasy, and Ley Lines. We got rid of all the smaller maps. We got rid of Last Fantasy, which is one of the more unorthodox maps. We got rid of some of the larger and more standard maps in the Tokamak and Ley Lines. And we are left with some of the larger maps, to be honest. Magnatha and Incorporeal, very large maps in the map pool. Persephone, a little bit more smaller, a little bit more standard. But I do want to believe you can be hyper aggressive on Persephone, so we'll get there. But an interesting set of vetoes, for sure. 100%. As we're actually, fun fact, because of these vetoes, we're seeing Magnatha and Incorporeal for the first time today. For the first time. Just because, again, all the smaller maps, they got rid of them. They got rid of all the smaller maps. Get him out of here. So, a nice bit of variety here tonight. We have still, after this match, after this series, the only map that we have yet to see is Last Fantasy. Because we've already seen Torches, we saw Pylon, we saw Ley Lines, of course. Incorporeal and Magnatha are the two that we haven't seen yet, but we're about to. Assuming we go all the way to the Ace match, of course, assuming. I think that's everyone. Yeah, I think that's everyone. I missed the last game. Who won? You missed out on the TVP. Between Clem and Bjorn. If you missed out, don't blame you. It was a really short one. It was a really short series. Did go the way of Clem. Clem Joa. Ran away with it. So we're getting ready for that next game. When it comes to Shin, he has also been a little bit less active as of late. I was referring to how some players were showing more, were practicing more, playing more, competing more. Others were taking a step back and hiding their builds. I want to say that Shin is one of those players where Shin has been less active over the past month of play. He's been playing in less tournaments, and we'll see if he's been cooking something up. I mean, ZvZ is just so chaotic. It's so difficult to prepare builds for this. Rogue is he's the exception to that. Rogue has some crazy ZvZ builds, and I hope that we're able to feature that at some point here in this broadcast, in this tournament. But as I mentioned, despite the vetoes, despite having some larger maps here, I do expect to see a lot of aggression between Shin and Reynor, for sure. It's what we expect. Shout out to Pepsi. What catches me off guard is whenever they go to the wide shot, they have a can of, you can see they have a can of Pepsi in the background. they have a small can of Pepsi in the background, and they have a can of Mountain Dew next to it as well. It's just really weird product placement because it's so far in the back. Like, it's like, why not have it in their desk in front of them, right? Like a little bit more visible. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Brett. Ladies and gentlemen, first match of the day is done. We are now going into our second match of the groups. It is a clash of titans, as we have Europe's fearless prodigy taking on Asia's rising Zerg in a ultimate showdown.
Let's welcome to the stage for their first games of the tournament, from Weibo Gaming, Shin, and from Basilisk, Reynor.
Huevito.
Shin struck a blow to the champion Clem at DreamHack Dallas in his quest for qualification. But is his ZvZ up to snuff?
Yo, is Reynor gonna play with those rings on?
And on the opposing side, hot off a 2-month warm-up in Korea for EWC. Mate. Can Reynor step up to the plate and start his journey here at EWC with a win?
Yo, we're not shaking hands? You see, Raynor's
a world champion.
He's got that bling on. He's got like 3 or 4 rings on.
Reynor versus Shin starts right now.
Okay, he's taking them off. I think. Yeah, he's taking them off. I was like, what the hell? It's coming with this chain. Blinked out, 1 ring for each finger. Jesus. Okay. Este Reynor. They need to bring out the Pepsi Man. Yes, yes. That's what we want. All the memes. Alright, here we go. I'm sure the Italian rap is blaring as we get ready for the ZvZ. They didn't pay enough for the front sponsor spots. It's just, it's like all the way in the background. Like you can barely get a glimpse of them in the background. It's just so random. Didn't order to shake hands. Those are lethal. At first, I thought they were like brass knuckles. I was like, yo, what are we about to watch right now? What's going on? Reynor about to throw hands. Jesus. Esther Reynor. Reynor's wearing a ring for every person who's going to crush. Are we going to crush his rings instead of the key? Is that what's going to happen? When he God. But here we go. We're jumping into our first game. We're jumping into our fresh best of 3. We're jumping into our ZvZ. Let's go. Would you do commentary in Spanish? Saludos de Colombia, papi. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Saludos, saludos. Bienvenidos. Buenos días. Buenos días. I cannot cast in Spanish. No shot as we are opening up 12 pool. Let's go. In the top left hand corner, go for the 12 pool. We do have the Red Zerg player from South Korea representing Weibo Gaming. It is a SHIN. Get through the get through it. Get through it. Get through the intro. He's 12 pooling. Who's doing the intro right now? Yo, 12 pull into a gas. Ooh, cheeky build here by SHIN. Meanwhile, in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have the Italian Zerg player, the blue Zerg for Basilisk. It is Reynor. And I think the casters may have just forgotten to introduce the players completely. Just as a heads up. Is Taste Hostess casting? I know that they often don't do player intros, so that might be the case. God damn it. So it might be Taste Hostess. Hard to say. But yes, we're going to be diving in. Again, we have Lings flooding across the map. Remember, this is going to be a later gas here, but gas nonetheless. Now, what's scary about the build that SHIN is going for, also before I forget, of course, predictions are open. Place your bets. Place your bets very quickly because, again, the first game may be over soon. Now, what's scary about what's happening is that this is not a 13-12, but it is a follow-up faster gas. Lings are going to be flooding across the map, and this follow-up gas timing is very unorthodox. It's very unusual. It is designed to catch Reynor off guard. Reynor, based on what he's about to see, he will see the initial 12 pool, but there's no clear indication that we're going to commit into a Bane bust behind this. Again, the gas and the Bane nest is a lot more quirky. This is a very quirky build here by SHIN, and we'll see how Reynor responds. So far, Reynor, he's going for his own hatchery. He has his own pool on the way as well. We'll see if Reynor fights for the natural, which I'm sure SHIN wants. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Does pull the boys. Reynor, he's fighting for the natural. Meanwhile, SHIN is all in. SHIN, he's completely all in here. And SHIN, he wants Reynor to fight for the natural base. Whereas otherwise, Reynor should just give it up. Like if he knew what was happening, he'd just give up on the natural, just pull back into the main and get spine callers. But there is 0 spines. Yeah, no spine callers. There we go. He does reveal the Bailings. He knows. First one does roll in. So far, just zoning back the army. SHIN, he will take the fight. Spine caller now begins, but it's a late spine caller from Reynor. Very late. You don't want to waste those Bailings. Yeah, spine caller is going to be denied. The Lings are flooding in, and Reynor, he's in danger here. He's in trouble. Bailings are taking a lot of damage. Yeah, they're taking a lot of damage. One Bailing may go down. Never mind. Does actually get through. Yeah, somehow, someway he does get in. Ooh, waste a Bailing. One Bailing goes off. There's one Bailing left. We cannot waste it. Does go for the mineral line. Not ideal. Does hire down a couple of drones. 9 drones go down. But now there are 2 queens. And now there are 2 queens. And Reynor, he holds. Whew. Reynor, he does hold on. That was almost game then and there. But again, he did hold well. He got his queens up and running. He did not get surrounded. And where exactly are we in our current game state? That's the real question. Okay, so we can take a moment here to catch up. We do have almost an equivalent drone count. When it comes to gases, of course, SHIN, he did invest into Bailing nests, but no Ling speed. From here, he should go into roaches. We should be walling up on 2 bases and getting into roach play. We'll keep an eye on our players. There's one defensive Bailing. But after a very chaotic start, we're droning up from here. We're stabilizing. Link speed on the way from Reynor. Interesting. Investing into link speed. We'll see if SHIN does the same. As Reynor is still staying in gas. Ideally, Reynor, he wants to see the lair timing. He needs to know if there's going to be 2-base lair on the way or not. Needs to confirm. But like, there's a lot of certain quirks or certain terminology in Spanish that I don't know for StarCraft, so I should. I do watch StarCraft in Spanish from time to time. Shout out to Enki, shout out to Enki, shout out to Draconics, shout out to Romsley. I love Romsley as well. I did watch some StarCraft in Spanish every now and then, but I don't have the vocabulary to cast in Spanish. No shot. En la esquina inferior de la mapa Persephone tenemos el... We used to do Spanish intros in the past. El grande, el mismísimo Jaime Arturo Duran Silencio. Jim Rising. Let's go. We used to do Spanish intros back in the day. But, nah. No casting, no casting. En inglés, papi, en inglés. For now, though, we're taking our third base. We do have our faster lair from SHIN. So SHIN is rushing into a lair. From here, he can go into Muta play. He can take in a different direction as well. So we'll keep an eye on SHIN. Reynor, back at home, taking his third. So Reynor has a faster third base. SHIN has a faster lair. So our two players are taking different directions. Likewise, you have +1 range on the way for SHIN. Likewise, +1 carapace on the way from Reynor. With carapace, Reynor can go Ling into Ravager. He can go for a Ling Ravager all in. Meanwhile, there it is. Fast lair into a fast spire. And right now the pressure's on Reynor to eventually scout this. Now, unfortunately, remember, Reynor, he has no lair, so there's no Overseer scouts. But at this point, at this stage, Reynor, he may just never get a lair. So my eyes are on Reynor here. Roach speed is revealed. Reynor does see this. SHIN, he attempts to expand. Only no Spanish. Ah, God. Oh. Ooh. Bailey goes off, does graze the army. Roaches are amassing. Lings say, oh, they do get in. Yeah, that should not have happened. They flood in. They get a full scout, and they get eyes on the spire. So a big moment here for Reynor. Does get a full scout off. Does get confirmation. Back at home, his own lair is on the way. Reynor, he's been joining. Reynor does have the better economy, that is true, but the Spire is almost done, and Mutazay will gain map control. Reynor, who'll be losing Overlords, we'll see if he loses any more than that. They'll at least gain map control for SHIN, as SHIN is getting into his own range upgrades. Yeah, SHIN. So it looks like only Mutas to harass. Only harassing Mutas. From here, he's focusing on Roach Ravager. He has some joining to do, so he has some catching up to do in regards to his economy. Mutas catch out the Overlord. Overlord goes down. Hydrogen on the way for Reynor. Upgrades in favor of SHIN. SHIN is already working on 2-1 upgrades. Jesus. Reynor is stuck on 1-0. So SHIN has superior roaches. Well, he will soon have them. Wings, they threaten a run by. They threaten a counterattack. Gonna be shut down. Reynor's taking into lurkers. I mean, that is a way for Reynor to slow the game down. But I don't know if SHIN is going to give him that time. We'll see. As they hit the main. They don't really get much done here. They get on top of the queen at least. Yeah, the queen goes down. Lings, they get across the map. Nice run by here by Reynor. Very nice. Yeah, SHIN is done droning. He's on the 3-base saturation, 6 workers. But what I will say is that Reynor, so far, he's looking okay when it comes to teching. The lurkers are on the way. But how many exactly? He's going to have, what, 4 lurkers? Very low lurker count. With enough, he can slow the game down and survive. Otherwise, I'm going to be favoring SHIN. But we'll see as the lurker count is getting higher, and I don't think SHIN is fully aware. As SHIN is pushing forward. As SHIN does move in on the right. The lurkers are revealed. While they do not connect, they graze the lurker at least a little bit. Never see him moving in. Ooh, forcing with a friendly fire. 1 lurker goes down. And again, it comes down to lurker defense. The lurker forced 1 burrow. Greater concave in favor of Reynor. For the Biles, nice on burrows, nice movement. Reynor does save his lurkers, but he's fighting out of range of the lurkers, though. SHIN does back off, getting surrounded. Uh-oh. Yeah, Reynor's coming in from behind, coming in for the surround. And SHIN gets completely caught out. Massive catch here for Reynor. Catching out the Roach Ravager, and SHIN, he will lose everything here. Massive loss for SHIN. He will lose everything. Roaches are coming from behind, but that was every Ravager going down, and now it's go time for Reynor. Now it's time to counterattack, now it's time to push in. It's now or never for Reynor. As SHIN got caught out. Oh, Reynor topping up with the healing pad. Let's go. Roach Ravagers is Roach Hydra. No, it's Roach like lurker. Like the lurkers are real big, like kind of sticking point here for Reynor. They're the backbone to his army. Down to 2 lurkers, down to 1. As the final lurker goes down, but now there are no Ravagers. We do come in for a pseudo surround, but the number's in favor of Reynor. Yeah, they're in favor of Reynor here. He will overwhelm. He will break on through. And at this point, it's just a numbers game. Defender's advantage though, okay. SHIN is trying to hold on desperately so. The Queens, they come in as supports. There's no transfuse energy. Yeah, there's no energy for transfuse. Likewise, I saw Reynor catch up with his upgrades. Still just rallying across the map. And he will overwhelm. Will overwhelm. Again, SHIN, he was on a timer when it came to trying to break Reynor, and he was achieving some damage, but again, it was just a brutal surround. And there should be no way for SHIN to survive this. GG gets called, and Reynor takes game at number 1. GG. GG, well played. Reynor, he does take a lead in the series. Again, it was intense back and forth. I love the early game build from SHIN. For SHIN to go for a 12 pull into a follow-up delayed gas into a delayed Bane bus, it was very cheeky, and he almost caught Reynor out completely, but Reynor, he barely held on. He got his queens up and running. He saved the queens. He avoided the surround as well. From there, he was able to tech up, and as we pointed out, he was able to safely, eventually, tech up into lurkers. We saw that SHIN, he was too late. He was too late to punish. Too late to punish the lurker tech. Lurkers, they got up and running. With that, Reynor was able to defend, able to hold on, and somehow, someway pulled off an insane surround. GG. GG. And now we're getting into game 2, and we'll see if SHIN can bounce back. I know that he can. I'm hoping for an ace match, but the pressure is now on SHIN. Pressure is on. Players are getting ready. As, oh, right, true. As Game 2 is going to be on for the first time at this broadcast, we're loading into Maganatha. Let's go. We are going to be loading in. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the red Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg, Forever Gaming. Oh, it is Shin. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. It is Reynor, the Basilisk. Oh, they actually did the intros this time. Again, because they missed it in Game 1, I assume that it's Tastosis, but I can't say for certain. As, oh, hello, we do have a pool first opener out of Shin. Okay. Now, bearing in mind, this is not as committed as last game. Remember, last game we have the 12 pool into the early gas. This is not the case. This is going to be pool into hatchery. So not as committed, not as aggressive. Meanwhile, Reynor going for a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Reynor. Now, because Shin is opening up without any gases, this typically leads into two-base Roach. Into two-base Roach as a follow-up. Lings are going to be racing across the map, and he can maybe get 1 or 2 drones. That's the hope for Shin, is to get a handful of workers to even things up, then drone up and catch up behind it. You know, we're switching to Reynor. Showing up his POV. Playing with a 79 ping. Let's go. We can see the ping top left. Just because this is just straight up screen capture out of Reynor. That's from here. He's setting up. We do have the Lings harassing across the map. Does get 1 drone so far, not bad. Yeah, 1 drone goes down. We have the spine crawler as well on the low ground, catching Reynor completely off guard. Yeah, he did miss the move out. Did miss the Zerglings. We missed it as well just because we were looking at its perspectives. Okay. We didn't see that a drone came out alongside the Zerglings, but nice around. Oh, that's a kill. Ay, that's a kill, not a cancel. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, initially it was not looking bad. I mean, hey, he gets 3 drones, but with the kill on the spine crawler, suddenly that was a bigger investment for Shin. Link speed is on the way. Reynor, he will soon gain map control. Oh, Shin with this around. Can he get the queen? Oh, it's close, and it looks like he barely will. Okay. Barely gets a queen. High energy queen at that. Saves the overload in the process. Okay. We have a back and forth. Shin loses the spine crawler, but he does kill a queen. Got 3 drone kills. Meanwhile, we spoke about this at the start of the game. Because it was a gasless opener, it has to be 2-base Roach. So there we go. Is walling up on 2 bases, is getting into Roaches. The reason for this is because his link speed is heavily delayed. And without link speed, there's no way to expand. Like, there should be no way for Shin to hold on, maintain a third. Not against speedlings. So he's contained on 2 bases. He has to fully wall up. Behind this, Reynor going for an earlier Evo chamber. From here, he can go into +1 Carapace. And Reynor should be the first to expand. Oh, okay. That I was not expecting. I was expecting Carapace. We're going into +1 melee. With the melee upgrade, then Reynor, he is going to be going into something a little bit different here. He can go into Muta play. He can go Mass Ling into Mutas, into a faster lair. Why is on Reynor? He's actually making a lot of Zerglings. Jesus. That I was like, he's making a lot of Zerglings. Ten more Lings on the way. I feel like from here, Reynor should be droning. All this Zergling production does feel like he's anticipating a move out from his opponent. But if Shin won't push, then these Lings, they won't really achieve too much. So in chat, are you casting Group B later? We are switching to Group B after this series. So yes. Group B will be after this match. We'll be covering Cure versus Showtime, and we're also going to be covering Classic versus Rogue. Oh, nice round. Reynor doesn't quite catch the queen. But again, Reynor's drone count is so low. He's coming in. Ideally wants to try to bait out the army. Denies the third. Plus one range is still not yet done. But again, Reynor, he heavily delayed his worker production in favor of all these Roguelings. I'm still not yet certain if it's worth it. As he's now droning up at least a little bit, Reynor, he does get supply blocked. Hey, he's moving out. He's moving out with his roaches. No lair, no tech. Comes in for the surround. Plus one melee is done in 10 seconds. Still a little bit premature. But it will soon kick in. Even without it, cleans up all the roaches, takes down the queens, and he will deny the expansion. Ay. Yeah, and things look, it's looking rough here for Shin. He just cannot expand. He's been trying to twice now, but he cannot expand. Now the upgrade kicks in, and now Reynor is getting into Ling Ravager. Or at least he should be working towards that. Roach Horn is done. He can build up his own roaches. Even reveals it here across the map. And he's forcing Shin all in. He's just forcing the all in out of Shin. Oof. That's a lot of roaches. Yeah, Reynor, he has to back up. He has to buy time. He has to buy time for his own roach production. As there are 21 roaches for Shin. Was once again does force another cancel. And Reynor is poking the bear. Like, eventually Shin is gonna push. It looks like he's waiting for +2. You can see Reynor throwing down spine crawlers. That's a correct call. Like, again, Reynor, he knows he's forcing the all-in. Like, he knows that Shin cannot macro out of this. It's just not gonna happen. I would even say that Reynor's undermaking spine crawlers. At this point, he can make like another 2, like 3 in total, like 1 for each entrance to his bases, like 2 at the third, 1 at the natural. Just setting up for what's to come. And now just focusing on his army production. Now Reynor did just make a wave of drones. That is concerning. He droned up to 59. That's a lot of workers. He's still droning as well. Like, it's a little bit greedy for Reynor. Here comes the all-in, and has Reynor been too greedy? Again, he only got the 1 spine crawler. And just the 1 spine crawler. Nice surround on these reinforcements. Shin, he commits across the map. And again, has Reynor been too greedy? As Reynor's massing up more Zerglings, more roaches. You can see Reynor, he has limited gas income. But he does hit the third once again for the 4th or 5th time. Ooh, catching on more roaches. Shin still has that supply advantage. Still has a massive army. Yeah, now we have the spine crawler repositioning. You can see Reynor, he's got 600 minerals as well. Like, he could afford to spend his minerals elsewhere. Instead spines. It's gonna be a tough hold. Shin working his way through it. He's trying to. Yeah, he has the greater roach army. But the defender's advantage here, we have more reinforcements coming in for Reynor. Reynor, he just needs a little bit more time for more roaches. Un poquito más. Oof. Spine crawler coming into play. Here comes a flank. And Reynor, he's holding. Yeah, Reynor, he holds on. He bought enough time. He was able to catch reinforcements. The queens are helping. Adding as much DPS as they can. And at this point, he will claim it's... Oh, good. Does take some biles to the face. Uh-oh. Does take some biles. Still quite close. Spine Cooler finally goes down, but Reynor does survive. He holds, he survives. Whew. Again, he's got double the economy, almost double the worker counts. And yeah, it was just a really rough start for SHIN. To lose his bases the way that he has. And he just had a really hard time breaking out and expanding. Just couldn't macro out of it, was forced into the all-in. I was concerned that Reynor wouldn't really achieve too much damage with his Mass Zergling, but hey, he got his surrounds. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will take the series 2-0. He will advance on to the next round. GG. He'll advance on to a qualifying match. And my condolences to SHIN. SHIN, I really liked game one. Like, I really loved the SHIN's opener in game one. It was very quirky. It was very cheeky. I had almost caught Reynor off guard. But again, as we saw, SHIN, he got surrounded, right? The game on Persephone, where he got completely surrounded. I'd love to hear Reynor's thoughts regarding that build and regarding game one. Game two was a little bit more cut and dry. Game two, Reynor, he committed into Mass Zergling. He was able to, again, catch out the roaches, get full surrounds, able to make it worth it. Things were looking a little bit dicey just because it does feel like SHIN was overdroning. He was overdroning a little bit. He was being a little bit too greedy, but I got away with it just barely towards the end. It was far enough ahead. GG. GG, well played. Yeah, we have our winner. We have our winner. We should be getting a winner's interview soon here with Reynor. But again, Reynor, he does claim the series. Bearing in mind, if you're a SHIN fan, he is still in the tournament. He's going to be knocked down to the lower brackets. He will have another chance to redeem himself. And that is going to be our final series of Group A. Oh, at least for today's broadcast.
Down here on the stage with Reynor. We're wondering what his heart rate was on that one. I was too fixated on the battle there. An excellent hold against SHIN to turn the tide of it in game two. What was going through your head?
Well, those were some games. Very interesting. I prepared a lot. I knew he would do, since he let the map through, I felt like he would do some sort of weird all-in. It just made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened the second game. He wasn't looking at my base until the links hit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused, but yeah, I guess it worked out in the end.
Hey, you were playing for 2 months in Korea before you came out here. Anything you learned in those 2 months that kept you ready?
Well, I learned that the Korean Zergs all in a lot, but I knew that beforehand as well, so guess I didn't learn much.
Well, you're coming into this tournament, one of the favorites. You've won here in Riyadh before. A lot of players
he put his rings back on.
You. Any thoughts you have for the rest of them?
I don't know. It's it's just the usual guys you gotta look out for. I guess everyone is kind of scary in this tournament. So, no, I'll just keep on going, do my best. Felt like my play was a bit shaky here, so I'll try to clean that up a bit.
Strong games for shaky play. Very impressive 2-0 win there for Reynor. Let's send it back to the desk, take a closer look.
I was gonna say, what's up with Reynor's hair, Pappy? He just got out of bed. Oh my god, I just realized this. I think he like ran his hands through his hair, which is why it's so frazzled. But GG well played. Again, we were lucky enough to, I guess, see the POV when it came to game number 2, when it came to Reynor just completely getting blindsided by the spine rush and by the link flood in game 2. As he mentioned himself, like he was like, what the hell's going on? But he was able to recover from that, able to shut it down. Again, it would have been nice to have heard Reynor's thoughts after game 1, when it comes to game 1's opener and game 1's build and what happened in game 1. But regardless, GG well played. And Reynor, he will claim the series. And now we're getting ready for our next matchup here. We're getting ready for, we should be getting updates soon. I believe we should be getting updates on Maru and Trigger. Maru versus Trigger is currently ongoing as well. That's happening over on the B stream. That's going to be an interesting one. I'll be honest, like Maru, he's been looking very shaky this year. He took a lot of time off. Maru, for those who aren't aware, Maru, he took a lot of time off. He was getting ready for military service. It was announced earlier this year that Maru, he is technically done when it comes to military service in Korea, just because for 3 years in a row he was signed up, he was ready, but he was never called upon by the administration. So because of that, after 3 years, because he was signed up, because he was registered, he was ready to go, and because he never got drafted, never got called upon, technically, like, now he's done with his military service, and he assumed that he would be, which is why he was actually getting ready to go to the military and to like sort of retire. After it was revealed that he didn't have to go anymore, then he could focus again. This was like back in like March, April-ish of this year. But that's also why he was looking very shaky in GSL and very shaky in DreamHack. Like, the Maru that we've been seeing as of late is not necessarily the Maru of 2024, but it's also been a while since we've seen Maru since DreamHack Dallas. So I'm really curious to see how Maru's been improving in that period of time, how much he's been grinding, and how in form he is for this tournament. I feel like out of all the top players, I don't really have as high expectations for Maru, but I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I'd be happy to see Maru in shape again, just because this year has been a shaky year for Maru. I bring this up just because Maru, again, he's playing against Trigger, but he's not being played on the mainstream, so wish him the best against Trigger. I'll be honest, I think that's going to be a shaky one, and we could even see an ace match between the two of them. We'll see. Best of luck to both Trigger and to Maru. Otherwise, our next series is going to be, I believe, Classic versus Rogue. We're going to be hopping over to Group B. We'll see if there's any kind of segment
Another
here.
update here from the B stream, where Maru, the expected victor, defeated Trigger with Swift 2-0. The second game crushed Trigger's hopes after saying that he was kind of hopeful for the state of Protoss in this patch and his chances in the tournament. Maru came with a very fast and swift SCV pool to accompany his Marine tank push, and kind of just, flatline Trigger just like that. We see that behind me on the stage, people are setting up, and the crew is working hard at getting things going over here. So, yeah, that's the update.
Looks like Cell versus Gabe is being set up on the B stream. So it's going to be Sarah versus Gabe in the background. But from what it sounds like Maru went for two base all-ins. Actually, hey, we see the highlights here. Yeah, 2 base all-ins. So 2 base all-ins out of Maru. This is to be expected. If you've been watching StarCraft as of late over the past year, another reason why Maru's been looking a little bit shakier this year. Against Protoss, it's been pure 2 base all-ins out of Maru, and against Zerg, it's been pure 3 base all-ins and 8 Raxes. Like, Maru, he's been very rarely playing standard games or very rarely playing macro games. It's been a lot of all-ins in almost every matchup. I say almost every matchup. TVT is the one matchup where Maru plays standard, but again, against Protoss and against Zerg over the past like 6 months, it's been pure all-ins, which is why I've been having less expectations out of Maru. But again, we'll see if that trend continues. We'll see if that trend continues into the rest of the matches. TFP is all in or bust. That is not true. That is not the case. If you're watching the stream, then you would know that we didn't actually have many all-ins when it comes to the previous series here tonight in TVP. The all-ins in TVP are very outdated. They're very much so like a month ago. So yeah, I do recommend checking out the games from today's broadcast when it comes to the other TVPs. Otherwise, we are going to be going on a break. We're going to be going on a break here, and we will be jumping into our next matchup. Again, it's going to be a 5-minute break, and then we do have Rogue versus Classic. See you soon. See you soon after the break.